Hi, I'm Niki, the Obsessive Bookseller. Welcome to episode 11 of our Genre Deep Dive Challenge. Voted on by my patrons, this is a quarterly challenge that we run. The idea was to pick a genre that you feel like you've been neglecting and spend a concerted effort on it. Mine has been sci-fi, and although I read sci-fi on a pretty regular basis, I picked up a lot more titles than I probably would have otherwise, and some good ones in there too. Most recently, Red Shirts by John Scalzi. This is a standalone. If you know anything about the Star Trek universe, it's not great to be a red shirt. They usually end up getting killed off. Now, aside from the 3 movies with Chris Pine, that is all I know about Star Trek. It's one of those series I've always wanted to give a try, but I'm kind of like one of those deep dive people where if I go into it, I want to start chronologically from the very beginning and work my way through the entire thing. Like, there's no halfway about it. So I just haven't been able to commit the time or the energy to tackle a TV project like that. As a Star Trek novice, I was afraid going into this one I would miss out on a lot of details, like a lot of key things that would make it more enjoyable. Inside jokes, show references. I didn't even know if the characters we were following were actual characters from the show or if they were made up. Are they on a ship that actually exists in the show? I don't know. Now that I've read it, I think this is one of those books that is primed if you are already a fan of the show, but if you're not, I feel like it's going to be a little bit over your head. He did some clever things with it, and there were a few moments that made me laugh because it's a Scalzi work, right? He's always funny. But overall, even though I'm a fan of his works, I think I would have been okay skipping this one. I had in my head this very satisfying narrative of red shirts finally rising up and breaking the mold. I got a little bit of that in the prologue, but overall I feel like it kind of focused on everything but that. Safe to say this is my least favorite thing from Scalzi so far, which includes a couple of books deep in the Old Man's War series that weren't very good. I am giving it a 2-star. It was just okay, even though it probably deserves a little bit more. I don't think most other people reading it will give it that low of a rating, but for me it was just, I wish I had passed on it. At this point in my reading career, I'd figured I'd read most of the Scalzi works on the market, to the point where I was going to discuss Scalzi and give you a reading guide of where I think you should start first, in lieu of my other books you might like feature, which, let's face it, would be really similar to what I gave you last week in The Martian. But as I started researching it, I am coming to the realization that even though I've read a ton by Scalzi, I still haven't read even close to everything that's on the market. There are so many books out there. He's been busy. He writes little snack sci-fi, and apparently they don't take that long because he has so many books. So in lieu of that brilliant plan, I figured I'd talk about the books that I've actually read by him and where I think you should start among those, and then just a little TBR of other books by Scalzi that I'm also interested in. By far, you all have heard it until you're sick of it. Old Man's War is my favorite works by this author, especially that first book. It was killer. So good. The second book, I did not care for at all. Felt like we were too far removed from what we started with, and it wasn't very satisfying for me. The third book brought it home a little bit. It wasn't nearly as good, but it had the essence of everything that I liked in the first book, and it was an actual continuation. So book 1, 5-star, book 2, 2-star, book 3, 3-star, and then you get Zoe's Tale, which, aside from the first book, is easily the best one of the series. It's so good. So 4 stars there. And then the last 2 books, Human Division and The End of All Things, were more like compilation of short stories told in this world. They didn't really expand the narrative in any way meaningful for me. They were entertaining within themselves, but don't look to these as this a satisfying series ender. They're not. But better than book 2, so 3 stars apiece, let's say. I've also read The Collapsing Empire by this author. We have book 1 here. This is a tight little trilogy, which, even though I preferred Old Man's War on the whole, I think this one was written better, and I think it has such a more satisfying narrative, a lot more direction, an equally entertaining cast of characters, a fun plot, something a little deeper than he usually gets into in his stuff, and just overall really consistent start to finish. So 4 stars, I think, for this entire thing. And most recently this year, I read Locked In and Head On, as well as the short story Unlocked that comes before the first book. This is futuristic detective sci-fi, kind of in line with Brandon Sanderson's Legion. It was really clever. I like the main characters. The mysteries were good enough that I wasn't questioning them. I was just enjoying them the whole way through. And even though he's not very thorough in his world development and a lot of things weren't very plausible, you just don't care because it's a Scifi book and you're having a lot of fun with it. So these ones were actually a lot stronger than I thought they'd be, and I'm very happy to have read them. I've also read Kaiju Preservation Society, which, if you want a Scifi snack, this was a pretty good introduction to his works. It's got all of the same elements in a tight little story, and it deals with kaiju. How fun is that? So I enjoyed the snot out of that one. So these are all the ones that I've read. I think you could pick any of them up and be okay, but I would start with Old Man's War and kind of treat it as a standalone. And then if you want to explore beyond that, you can. But if you just want a one and done, kaiju is probably the way to go. And after doing research, there are 5 Scifi books that are now kind of high up on my priority. I forgot about Fuzzy Nation. I had heard a lot of good things about this one. A lot of people who love Scifi as much as I do praise this one. How have I not read it? I don't know. He's got a lot of stuff. But this one looks like a lot of fun. I love creature creation and books. And Scifi's just so funny. And every single picture I see of him with his cat make me laugh. So I imagine this is like a race of tiny cat beings. There's one that might be an Audible only, but it's called The Dispatcher. And because I like the Lock-In series so much, I thought that one would be fun. I really like the way he does mysteries in his books. So I didn't dig too deep into it, but I'd like to read that one. Speaking of cats, The Starter Villain. This is a book that came out this year. Sounds like classic Scifi, something really fun, cheeky, kind of out there. I lied, there's only 4. When the Moon Hits Your Eye. Comes out sometime within the next 6 months. Don't quote me on this, but I think it has something to do with like what would happen if the moon turned into cheese. So that's my take on all things Scifi. If I didn't mention one from him that you really love, or if one that I haven't read is one that you love, let me know. And as we come to the end of this episode, which is the actual penultimate one, last time I couldn't count, my next and final read for the challenge will be The Sunlit Man by Brandon Sanderson. This is Secret Projects Book 4. As you can see, I've already started it. I had no idea what to expect going in, but yes, I'm very excited. We're reading this one for Patreon Book Club. It's one of my highest priorities to be read for the year, especially since I hear you're supposed to read it before the new Stormlight Archive comes out in December. With the next episode, I'll be reporting how this one went for me. These editions are so freaking beautiful. Like, I almost don't want to pick it up and touch it. Don't want to mess it up. As always, thanks for watching. My patrons are getting access to this video series a full quarter ahead of time, so if you'd like to participate and get in on the action in real time, link to my Patreon is in the description. Otherwise, thank you. Subscribe if you haven't already, and I will catch you on the next one. Bye.